No, I don't have any notes. Thank you, board members. My name is Patty Quinzi, and I'm the legislative counsel for the Texas chapter of the American Federation of Teachers. And because stakeholders were limited yesterday, we wanted to make sure you heard directly from us today. And I want to thank you for your very thoughtful conversation and discussion you had yesterday about these rules. You have a wealth of experience. I also looked at the bibliographies recently too. You are educators, counselors, community members. Some of you have legislative experience, higher ed experience. So there's a very good reason why you were all chosen to serve on this board and to oversee this very important profession. We oppose any mandatory minimum sanctions or anything that would decrease your level of discretion. We think it's incredibly important when we're discussing someone's livelihood that we look at these cases individually and examine all the facts around the circumstances. And we think that deserves careful review by experienced people like yourselves. The legislature also trusts you to use your discretion, and that's why they passed House Bill 2519. And in that bill, as you learned earlier, there are alternatives to sanctions. So it sounds like the last thing they wanted was kind of mandatory minimums, but they do, in fact, want you to use your discretion. And so you're going to hear a little bit more about legislative intent a little later. And the mandatory minimum would remove your discretion and unfairly approach this discussion, which again involves a person's life, their livelihood, their health. And I think it's important for us to remember throughout this past year, we've learned that teachers are first responders. And they deserve your appreciation, of course, but they also deserve your respect and careful consideration when you're reviewing their certification. And thank you for your service, and I'll be glad to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Mr. Vorak, yes.
Thank you for being here today. I was wondering if you could share about how many teachers that you represent in what area of the state so we can kind of get an idea.
We represent 65,000 educators and support personnel, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, so everyone who is not an administrator, and there are 65,000 folks across about 25 different locals throughout the state. So we're statewide and very many of us.
Wow, and have you polled your teachers on this topic, and could you share that?
We haven't had time to do this with this quick review, but we have heard just in the past that it is so important to them and meaningful for them to be able to come before you. They know you as the board that oversees their profession. They trust you. So I think that they would very much like to be able to have their say in their due process in front of you. I think that would matter, especially because this is not just a profession. This is a calling for folks. So it really matters to them.
And I would have been really impressed if you polled between last night and this morning. I more meant kind of through the years, I'm sure. So thank you so much.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Mr. Vorak. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Laura Kravitz.